Hey guys, it's Jessica, and today I'm doing a very serious video. But a video that is semi-serious. I wanted to talk to you guys about sponsorships and PR, which stands for public relations. I know some people have asked. Just the whole behind the scenes of YouTube when it comes to paid content versus, you know, products you're sent for free and what that actually means and what they expect from you and how to get a hold of companies, how companies find out about you. All that kind of stuff we're going to cover today. So we're going to start with questions that you guys had for me on Snapchat, and then we'll just see where we go from there. If you have any other questions for me as this is going along, wait till the end because it might get answered. But then if I still haven't answered it by the end of the video, definitely let me know below. Because if I feel that I really haven't answered enough about it, I wouldn't mind doing a part 2 of this at some point in the future. So let me know below, but wait till the end. Okay, it's a teacher in me, I'm sorry. I can't help it. All right, so Jen Hearts B&B says,
hey Jess, excuse my sweaty makeup, but how big of a YouTube channel do you have to have, or can regular people get free products from companies? I love your channel and your husband's channel. Thanks.
Thank you, Jen. You know, her makeup looked really good for being sweaty. You couldn't tell. Sometimes I feel like when you sweat, somehow your makeup sometimes looks really good because you kind of look glistening and like glowy and dewy. Anyway. That's a great question. There's not necessarily a certain number of anything you have to be able to receive free products. For example, when I was first starting out, I couldn't have had, I just don't know. I don't think I had very many subscribers when Palladio, the company, sent me a box of free makeup. I remember being like surprised that they were willing to send me anything because I felt like I didn't really have a huge following. And so, I mean, there's really no number. And there are still companies today that won't send me anything because I think they want my channel to be bigger. I feel like I've got a solid base of lovely people that follow me, but some companies still only want bigger channels. So it totally depends on the company. And it depends on the fact that some companies really utilize YouTubers and Instagrammers and people that are big on social media of different kinds. They really utilize that with their PR department, but other companies just don't. And so that's what I've come to realize, that some companies just haven't used that yet and others have already started that. And I don't know that eventually all companies will, they might not, but it is something kind of interesting. But when I was first starting out, what I would do is I kind of created this stock letter, and it would be something like, you know, hi, I'm Jessica and I have this YouTube channel, and I would have the link and I would say how many subscribers I have. I would typically say, you know, if it's a brand I really like that I want to try more from, I would say, I really, really like your brand. I'd love to try more. Or I might say, if it was something that a lot of you guys had asked about, I might say, a lot of my subscribers are asking me to review some of these products. Is this something we could make happen? Another simple question you could ask is, could you add me to your PR, your public relations list? Do you have a mailing list for bloggers or for whatever? And some companies do, some companies don't. Some companies will respond, some companies won't. And, you know, a lot of companies will have a stock thing because sometimes you have to go through customer service if you can't find like a PR email or a marketing whatever. So it's totally based on the company, but you can just click around their site, look at their about me, look at their contact us, see what you can find. It never hurts to try. If you know you're in a spot, and that's where I was, where I didn't have enough money to buy a bunch of stuff, but I really wanted to review things, it's a great way. You might as well try. It doesn't take you that much time. You're making a connection with the brand, and even if not, you tried. It didn't hurt, you know, and that's the beauty of emails. I mean, everything's so unpersonal, so it doesn't really hurt your feelings as much if they're like, no, your channel's too small, which they've never actually said that, but you know what I'm saying. That was an awesome question. I hope that I answered it well enough. I guess in a nutshell, no matter what size channel you have, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, whatever, or if you don't have any, you could try. I don't know what they would do, but it certainly, I mean, it doesn't hurt to try. Luddick Danny says, ooh, good question. Hi. She said, have you ever said anything negative about a company and had them stop sending you PR? I don't know. It's gossip time. About to spill the tea. I do actually have tea here. I don't want to spill it though. It's really good. I think that Starlooks stopped sending me things because I would unbox their Starbox, and I'm always honest with you guys. So like BoxyCharm, Ipsy, they send me their box, but they know I'm gonna be honest, and if there are things in it that I don't like or I don't think it was worth the money that month, I'm gonna tell you guys. Hopefully they know that you guys would value honesty more than just a robot telling you that this is good. So I don't know for sure. I really don't. So if I'm wrong and Starlooks, you're somehow watching, I'm sorry. But they stopped sending me their boxes, and I was just like, because you could tell in those videos I didn't love them. I didn't even have to show them, but I chose to because I figured you guys might be interested in those. And that was really during like the subscription box craze when it was all first starting out and everyone was coming out with a subscription box. So it was really big then, but I have to wonder, are there any other companies? I don't think so. I feel like a lot of the companies that send me things are really good about, like e.l.f. for example. I'll do videos about e.l.f. products and I'll say, here are the best and here are the absolute worst. And they're still like amazing to me. And I love that in the company because e.l.f. products, I could buy on my own. They don't need to send me anything, but I love that they still do because they want the word to get out about some of the cool new things they're doing, and they really do have some amazing products. But I love that they're willing to risk that, you know, obviously not everyone's gonna love every product. So I think that's really dignified of a company when they can accept that and know that that's a huge possibility. It's part of the game, isn't it? So that was the Angel 120. So she was asking, how do you get sponsored? Okay, so there are a million ways for a company to sponsor you. The most primitive, simple way is that a company will find your email. So, you know, if you're a YouTuber or even an Instagrammer, you can have your business email, you know, right in your profile, your info, whatever. I have mine in my description box. So if a company just straightforward emails me, and that happens, like I mentioned, I think in my live video, like 5 times a day or so, that I can read through, and they'll usually say, this is our company, we do this, that, and the other. We'd love to do a sponsored video with you guys. Some of them will say, we'll pay you X amount of dollars. Or they'd say, can you send us your rate card, which is basically just saying, here's how much I would do a sponsored video for, like if it was a dedicated video where the whole video was about that. Here's how much I would charge if it were, I'm just mentioning a product for a minute or two, like maybe in a favorites video, whatever. Here's what I would charge for an Instagram post, for a Snapchat post, whatever. I remember when I first heard rate card, I was like, what? Anyway, that answered like a separate question about rate cards. But anyway, so that would be a company just straightforward asking you. And the other way you can get sponsorships is, of course, you can reach out, like I'd mentioned before. That would be a little bit trickier. I've never done it where I just go to a company and say, hey, I want to do a sponsored video for you. That would be awesome because then I could pick products that I already know I love, which is even easier, versus trying a product and then deciding if I like it enough to actually do a sponsored video. The simplest way, in my opinion, to snag sponsorships that really fit what you like and what your channel is about and what your subscribers would want to watch is through different platforms. So these are free websites you can use where you just sign up, you put in your YouTube info or your social media info, and they will capture, you know, your subscriber count, your video views, etc. And with that, they can pair you with companies that might be a good fit for you. So if they see that you're a beauty person, they might say, oh, you might want to work with these companies. And the companies that they recommend on these websites, and I'll have all these websites below if you're interested in them. The companies that they'll recommend for the... Oh, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen in my whole life. I just saw 2 friends running from all, like they're probably like my age, but it looks like they haven't seen each other. They ran from all the way across the parking lot to jump and hug each other. That was just made my heart so happy. It makes me miss my friend Sarah. Anyway, so they'll match you with companies, or they might say you might be interested in contacting these companies that are a part of their, not really platform, but really, yeah. I've recently done some sponsorships where it was on there. It was a company that I saw, like I did Paula's Choice. I love Paula's Choice products. Anyway, I had done a sponsored video for them a while back ago, and it was through one of those platforms where they said, oh, I see you do beauty and skincare, you might like this company. And so then they had like a campaign. And so a campaign is basically when a company says, you know, the month of January is a big sale on our website and we would love someone to promote it, something like that. Or maybe they have a new product out that they want someone to promote. So you can create a pitch, and all that is, it's really simple on these websites. It'll pop up and you'll say, yeah, I want to try to work with them, to collaborate with them. So you might say, okay, here's the price I might charge, and here's my video idea. I would like to incorporate it maybe in a favorites video or a get ready with me, whatever it might be. And then they can go through and look at it, and maybe, you know, a couple days later, they'll look at all the people that had pitched to their campaign, and then they'll decide, okay, I'm going to go with this person. And sometimes they'll pick a couple people. So if you've ever seen, like, and you probably have, I know I have, where a couple YouTubers on the same day or on the same time are doing a video about the same thing, and they say they're sponsored, because you have to say you're sponsored. I mean, and as well it should be, you have to say you're sponsored. And it kills me when people will say, you know, usually not to my videos, but to other people, they'll say, oh my gosh, this was clearly sponsored. But nowhere in there it says it's sponsored. They never say it. I'm like, then it can't be sponsored. It just can't be, because it's completely against the law. They could get in huge legal trouble. And so, you know, it's just very, very unlikely that if someone's saying it's not sponsored, it can't be sponsored then. I mean, just simple. Did that make sense? Anyway, these platforms are amazing. They help you create the pitches. They're really simple. And the beauty is, again, there's no harm in it, because they could just say no and you move on. But there's lots of different companies to look at. So I think that is fantastic. And so some of the websites I like, Revfluence is one of my, honestly, Revfluence is my favorite. It's the easiest to use and look at and like see where I've talked to companies. Realio is really good. FameBit I've used. It's not my favorite. I don't think it's as user friendly, but it's still a really good one. But yeah, so I'll have all those links linked below. This is from Shan R6.
Hi Jessica, I absolutely love your channel, and I was just wondering, what's your favorite thing you've ever gotten through a sponsorship? Thank you.
Yes, you are absolutely beautiful. Favorite thing. Honestly, some of my favorite videos I've ever done weren't necessarily sponsorships. They were where I was sent something and I decided to talk about it. And so I'm not really going to answer your question directly, I guess, because I really don't know. I mean, I've just gotten to know some awesome people at certain companies. I know that. I've also had some really, really, really bad experiences with some companies. And again, typically it's companies that they didn't want me to speak the truth, or I don't know. It was always just an odd, and it hasn't happened a lot recently, but you know, people where they would almost try and push you around. And that really bothered me to my core, because I'm like, listen, I'm creating this content. I don't have to do this. Now, once I've signed a contract, technically, yes, I have to. But if in the contract it didn't say certain things that you're telling me now I need to do, I'm like, no way. And it just, you know, some people will push you around. And so not letting that happen is huge. And it can be hard because you're trying to communicate through email and things don't come across the right way all the time. Like 3 or 4 people asking what the difference is. Like, how are some things sponsored and other things where you're sent like a whole bunch of stuff from that company, how is that not sponsored? It really is all in the meaning of the actual word. The reality is, either way, the company gave you something and you're giving them something in return. In that case, a video. Now, with a sponsorship, they'll typically send you whatever it is you're supposed to be talking about, but they also pay you. Whereas a company just sending you stuff, so I'll call it like PR, public relations, where they'll send you things to help market their brand, that typically is done with the understanding that I, the YouTube creator, don't have to do anything with it. So usually, and I think I've mentioned this before, if a company says, hey, we're this so-and-so skincare company and we want to send you these new products we think you'll like, I'll usually say, sure, but just know that I might not try them, I might not mention them in a video at all, etc. And I would say probably 95% of companies are fine with that. And they'll say, that's fine, what's your mailing address? So it's not, I used to feel like if a company sent it to me, especially when I had just started my YouTube channel the first year, I felt like, oh, they sent it to me like they're watching my channel like a hawk, waiting for me to post something. I don't know that that's the case. I think they send, especially bigger companies, they'll have this whole list of a bunch of bloggers and YouTubers that they'll send all this stuff out to, and they might be watching your channel like a hawk. I don't know. I just don't think that could possibly be true. I feel like that would take up too much manpower to wait for, but I don't know. Regardless, I've never had a company, maybe once or twice, but typically I've never had a company say, hey, we sent you this. Why is there no video yet? So for me, I had pressured myself so much, like, oh, I've got to do videos on this, and I would get so overwhelmed with all these things that I wasn't even doing videos on what I actually wanted to do videos on. So I finally hit this point where I was like, oh yeah, I don't have to. So I started using what I said I'd say in an email, where I'd just say, I might not show it, I might not mention it, whatever. And so ever since I've started doing that, it's freed myself up to do what I want, because the reality is they're not why I have a channel. You guys are why I have a channel, and myself is why I have a channel. Grammatically, that didn't make sense, but I think you guys get the point. So appeasing them doesn't do anything for me. It's like in politics. It kills me. We were talking about here where we live. Apparently there was some referendum where they were going to try and do like some kind of really cool high-speed train near us. And there were these people in our county that really, really wanted, they were pushing it really hard, but they were trying to get the downtown area to go for it. Well, finally, after pushing and pushing and pushing, downtown was like, all right, you know what, let's just do it. I think that's a great idea. And all of a sudden, the people in the county were like, never mind, and they backed out. And both Tyler and I, when we had heard about it, we looked at each other and we were like, I wonder who suddenly gave them money for something. What company, what person or business that has opposing interests suddenly is helping them out, which is why they're suddenly doing a 360 on the whole deal. It's just politics. Anyway, that's what kills me when I watch some YouTubers that's all they do. I'm like, oh my gosh, like they'll do one video a month and it's always sponsored. It kills me. I'm like, you got so big because of your subscribers, and here we are, we're all waiting for videos, and you do one, maybe twice a month, and usually one of the two is sponsored. I wouldn't care if someone did a sponsored video every single week. Like right now, I actually have a couple sponsorships lined up for things I really believe in, and so I know that if I'm gonna put out, say, 3 sponsored videos in a month, I know that I have to fill in the gaps with other videos, or else it's not really fair to you guys. And while I'm absolutely honest with you guys in sponsorships, I know that you probably watch them like, because that's just the nature of sponsorships. I do the same thing when I watch other people. So I want to make sure that you understand I'm never going to just sink to just sponsorships. So, wow. Long story short, I don't even know what the question was anymore. Let's talk about contracts. Read them. If you are doing this and you've got a sponsorship, I don't care if it's your first sponsorship to your 50th sponsorship, whatever. I don't care if it's for Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, I don't care. Read it. There have been too many times that I just kind of glossed over it and then I missed something huge, like we will be able to use, I don't remember what it was, like use sound bites of what you say and rearrange the words to fit our need. Basically saying they could take what I'm saying, rearrange it however they want to make it sound even better for them, for whatever purpose they might use it for marketing. And I was like, what? And I didn't read it. Now, luckily they didn't, and I ended up talking to them about it. But, you know, there could be things that companies slip in there that, you know, a lot of them will say, you know, if you sign this contract, we have the right for 12 months to use your face, your video, your voice, whatever, in any of our marketing campaigns, you know, anywhere. So, and honestly, usually that's not that big of a deal. That doesn't really bother me, but it is something that you want to be aware of, because if you don't know that and all of a sudden you see yourself popping up in a feed of some company and you're like, what? And you didn't realize that was in the contract anyway, you'd be, I don't know, you might be upset, I don't know. But it's just something worth noting. Really, really, really read your contract. When a company sponsors you, I would say about 75% of companies will send you, not a script, because it's really not, but kind of talking points. And some of them will just say, here's 3 talking points, just make sure you maybe hit on these if you agree with them. Others will send you like 20 talking points. And when you get to that point, read through them, pick the ones you believe in and say those. Because getting through all 20, you guys would see right through it. I see right through it when I watch sponsored videos too. And it's like, I mean, really? A company cannot expect you to say 20 verbatim things. It's just ridiculous. And the good news is a lot of companies that are getting used to this will say, you know, I want you to say it however you want to say it. You know, whatever your experience with it was, that's what we want to hear about it. I don't want you to do any of these specific things. So I love that a lot of companies are realizing that the more honest we are, the more likely you guys will trust us, the more likely you guys will watch it, versus being a robot saying what they want to say but being completely unbelievable, because it's not what we believe. So if you ever get in contact with a company where you feel like something's not right or they're just a little bit too pushy and you haven't signed a contract yet, get out. There's a reason you're feeling that way. I had a really bad experience with a subscription box, actually with 2 different subscription boxes, where, you know, one of them was saying, you know, I had agreed to do a sponsored video. This was like 2 years ago. And I never got the box. And I kept telling them, like, I haven't gotten it yet. And they're like, oh, that's weird. And then they just stopped contacting me. And then like 3 months later, they were like, you don't put up the video, it's way past the due date. I'm like, I told you guys I haven't gotten the box. I'm like, if you send another one, I'm fine filming it. That was the whole idea. And it just got really weird really fast. But then luckily they realized, oh, you're right. Okay, never mind. So that was like one of those things that I was like, this is terrifying, you know? So you've got to really with that, you can't even be wary, because it was just, I think it was just a weird happenstantial thing. But save your emails, I'll tell you that. But I had another issue with the subscription box company where it was a guy that was really, really pushy. And he was telling me there was no contract with this one. And like I said, not all of them do. Some of them are just word of mouth. It's probably in your best interest to do a contract, because just to protect yourself, but also to protect them. Most companies have them, but every once in a while they won't. And I would say you might want to be leery of that if there's no contract. Because if there's no contract and you make that video and you do all that work and they say, oh, well, sorry, then you're out of luck. So make sure there's something you're signing and they're signing, and that you have a copy of it on file, just in case. You hear about all these nasty stories of companies that are just like kind of seedy, and it can be really scary. So I would say just trust your gut. You know, if there's a contract, you'll be fine. Just keep it. And I would say more often than not, my experiences have been absolutely positive, whether I've come in contact with a company through email or through one of the platforms. So a couple people asked if a video could be sponsored without saying it. And I kind of touched on it before, but absolutely not. Every company I have ever worked with has always said, like in bold letters, you must disclose that this product was sent to you for free, or that this video is sponsored, or that you're collaborating with the company. Whatever verbiage, it doesn't really matter. But as long as you're being honest about what's going on. Now, a lot of companies will ask if you'll put it lower in the thing, and I'm like, I think almost every sponsor video I've ever done, I have it in the top few lines, because I'm like, it upsets me when I watch a video and about 2 minutes in, I'm like, this is sponsored, and I don't see it at the top line. I'm like, really? So I'll click down and I'll find it at the very bottom. And usually I have my disclaimer at the bottom, but I usually have it at the top if it's sponsored as well. So, yeah, I think it's just kind of sketchy to hide it. You know what I mean? A couple people asked how else you can make money without doing sponsorships. That is probably my favorite question. So there are these sites. My favorite is Magic Links. There's another one called like Real Style, and I think I have an account with them, but I've never actually figured it out or used it. I love Magic Links. That's the one I always use. And I'll have a link for this below, but basically this is a way for you to get paid, and it's honestly, you guys, like cents on the dollar. It's not a lot. It can add up, but if you're, just starting out, it's not going to make you a ton of money, but it does help. So through Magic Links, basically, if I mentioned, say, this brow crayon in the video. I don't like this brow crayon, so this is actually products I regret, so don't go out and buy it. Anyway, if I mention this brow crayon in a video and I say, I always got a list of the products I mentioned below, in that I can find this, say on Ulta's website or whoever's website. I can copy the URL and then I paste it into this create links area of Magic Links. And in there, it'll create a link for me that's connected to my account, and then I can copy that shorter link and put it in the description box. And what that does is it tracks. If you go in my description box and you're like, ooh, that brow crayon, it's still not good, don't buy it. But anyway, you're like, ooh, that brow crayon, and you click on the link, it'll track that if you buy that, I'll get a tiny percentage of it. So I think it's such a genius way to, if you're putting the work to find all the links for all the things, and I know that sounds easy if you've never done it, but when I've got, even 10 favorites, it takes me a little bit of time. So if I'm putting through the work to find a good working link at a reputable deal like Ulta or Sephora for all the different products I mentioned, I might as well make a tiny bit of change on top of it. So like I said, it's not gonna make you a ton of money, but it is a little chunk of change that, why not? If you're getting the links anyway, why not? So I'll put the link for Magic Links below, but I just absolutely love it. They also have some things that are like a pay per click, and it's very rare. But if I type in a product, because you can also search your products on their site. So if I type in a product, say it's a MAC lipstick, and if they do have it, they'll say, oh, this is a link that depending on however many people click it, you'll get, a penny per click. I have no idea what it is, but you know what I'm saying. So it's just a really cool site. I really, really love it. So I definitely would recommend it, especially if you have a blog as well. Oh my gosh, I definitely recommend it. So I think I've covered most of the things I could think of. If you think of anything that I did not cover, ask me below. I'll either compile them to do another video, or if there's not a ton of questions, I might just answer them. So look to see if I've already answered it as well. But I really hope this helped you guys. I have another video I did last year called YouTube Tips and Tricks. And in that I mentioned some of the stuff, but I mentioned a lot of other things. If you're just looking for some other tips on how to grow your YouTube channel organically, I can link that video below. I was really proud of it. So other than that, I hope you'll hop on over to that video, subscribe while you're here, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.